Again, Romans chapter 12, verse number 15. As you turn to Romans 12, finding verse 15, let me ask you some candid questions. Do you think people care about people? Are people selective in who they care for? When we see what other people go through, good, bad, or indifferent, how do we feel about them and how do we respond to them? Are we wrapped up in our own interests, thinking only about what we want? Are we so overburdened and so overworked that we may not even know what others are going through? Are we just not conscientious or aware of others? Are we so needy ourselves that we are not in a position to help others? Or are we afraid that if we know what someone else needs, that we might be called on to actually do something? Sometimes when people say, if you need anything, let me know. And then you let them know, and that's what they do, is let you know, no, I'm not doing anything. Romans 12, verse 15 is designed to teach us two things. Number one, to be emotionally connected to one another. Not just aloof, not just having a see you on Sunday kind of relationship. Because there are many people who go to church together and have been knowing each other for years, and they are not necessarily emotionally connected. It's also designed to help us to develop empathy for one another. Empathy is a little bit deeper than sympathy. Sympathy is certainly feeling a compassion for what people are going through, but empathy is the ability to understand and share a person's feelings. It's like stepping in their shoes. In Romans 12, verse 15, this is exactly what the Bible teaches. It says, rejoice with them that rejoice and weep with them that weep. When we think about rejoicing with others, sometimes things are going well in other people's lives. And when we think about what is going well in their lives, we need to celebrate their blessings with them. We have to be cautious because envy and jealousy can rear their ugly heads. In all of my years in the church, I've heard people ask for prayer requests for many different things. I've heard people say, pray for my temper, or pray for my tongue, or pray that I can reconcile with someone that I have a broken relationship with, or I have anger in my heart. But I've never heard anybody say, pray for me because I am envious and jealous. And when things are well in other people's lives, it can cause those very negative emotions to arise. Why are they so blessed? Why did God give that to them and not me? What makes them so special? Have you ever thought that how you regard someone when things go well for them could very well be a test as to whether or not God is going to bless you? When you're happy for others and can share in their joy and celebrate with them, it may usher in blessings for you. But when you're uneasy because God has been good to someone else, you may have just blocked your own blessing. Sometimes people don't even like the applause that other people get from others. Why is she so celebrated? Why is he honored in such a way? Be happy for others. Then the Bible says, weep with them that weep. In the lives of every person, they will experience grief and sadness and heartbreak. And this can be a particularly hard thing to do, weeping with people that weep, because of the complexity of people and the diversity of their personalities. What you do for one person can be the worst thing to do for the next person. I always say to the congregation, about many different aspects of dealing with people. What one person loves, the next person hates. What one person compliments, the next person complains about. But here are some thoughts on weeping with others. Number one, don't make their story your story. You ever be around people that are sharing their pain or their problem and others make it about them? Somebody can say, well, I'm having surgery tomorrow, and it becomes about when that person had surgery. Yeah, when I had my surgery, or when I went through my divorce, or when I lost my job. And it's not that they're ministering to people from their test and how they developed a testimony. It's like they are trying to steal the sadness of the moment, to outsad somebody and make it their own story. So be careful not to make someone else's story your story. Second, don't support people the way you need supporting. Sometimes what we give to people is what we want or what we need. And what we want or need may very well be valid, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what other people need. For example, I know people who will complain if no one visits them in the hospital. Brother Gibbs, nobody came to see me. I have other members that going to visit them in the hospital is the worst thing you could do, because they don't want people seeing them in that vulnerable position and seeing them at their worst. And I know people say, Brother Gibbs, please, I don't want any visitors. And somebody may go and visit and spend 2 hours because that's what they would want, not necessarily what someone else needs. Make time for others, make your heart available, and make follow through something that you don't mind giving to others. I wouldn't say that we can ever master these things because, again, people are very complex. But give your heart and give to God your willingness to love, to care, and be compassionate. Because God is not only concerned with how we honor Him, He's also concerned with how we honor one another. This has been another installment of A Few Minutes with the Minister.